Jai Sadguru Deo and hello to everyone. The book Sadguru Divya Charitavali, the supernatural performances of Sadguru Maharshi Shri Sadafal Devji Maharaj, written by Acharya Shri Chandra Devji Maharaj. The book to be continued from page number 14. It was at Gaya where Shri Sadguru Deo was staying that a sepoy from the military came to see him. The sepoy was to come to him in the night. Swamiji had ordered that the gates be kept open so that the sepoy could walk in. We were all surprised as to how Swamiji had foreseen his visit to him. The sepoy really dropped in after some time in the night. Next incident. While Sri Sadguru Deo was staying in his cottage at Ajamgarh, I went to see him along with a man. Sri Sadguru Deo had not taken his day meal that day and had ordered it to be kept off. When I reached there, he asked the cook to serve me the food that he had ordered to be kept off. He only took some milk and I ate the food that he had kept reserved for me. Next incident. Once Sri Swamiji was in the district of Gazipur when he sent a word through a messenger that following day there was an apprehension of a theft being committed at the ashram and therefore we all had to be vigilant. The messenger could not reach that day and theft was committed at the ashram that night. The messenger reached us the next morning. Next incident. Once Sri Swamiji was camping at the bank of Ganga at Prayag. It was the cold month of Magh. He asked an old attendant to bring him some water from Ganga at the dead of night. The devotee could not muster courage. At this, another devotee went to Gurudev and begged permission for bringing the water. After obtaining Swamiji's permission, the devotee went to the Ganga to fetch the water. The bank was steep and the level of water was approximately 15 feet below the ground. The devotee was perplexed as to how he could fetch water from such a steep depth. But he mustered up courage, went down the crevice, and collected some water. Just as he was going up, he found to his surprise that the bank had stepped down its normal height, and he had no difficulty in stepping up the bank. A strange thrill overpowered the devotee. Sri Swamiji was greatly pleased with the disciple and he initiated him into the Yog Marg. Next incident. Sri Gurudev permitted me to attend the Delhi session of the Congress party. It was decided that two more persons should accompany me. I left Gaya for Delhi at about 3 a.m. In the night alone, as the other two persons who were to accompany me could not reach the station on time. The servant who came with me to the station returned back to the ashram and informed Swamiji of my going to Delhi alone. Knowing this, Gurudev became anxious. Suddenly I found that my train stopped at a distance of 8 miles from Gaya without any cause or defect. The guard or the driver could not know the reason of the stoppage of the train at a place far off from the station. The train had automatically slowed down and then came to a halt. Just then the Bombay mail came on the other track and so halted that the bogie in which the two persons who were to accompany me came in front of me. I then pulled out their luggage, quickly, and they also swiftly boarded the Delhi Express in which I was traveling. The train then automatically started moving, and we three left for Delhi together. The co-travelers of the train started saying jocularly that the train had stopped only for the three of us to go to Delhi together. One of the two colleagues accompanying me was a teacher. He said that Sri Sadguru Dev had done such a miracle for all three of us going together. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. It was definitely a grace of Sri Swamiji. When I returned from Delhi, Swamiji started scolding me for boarding the train without any companion. He said angrily that he had to see from the station to the place of haltage and arrange for everything. He further warned me not to commit such a mistake again. Next incident. All three of us went to Dehradun from Delhi, and from there we moved up the mountain to Mussoorie for sightseeing. I felt greedy owing to the motor car journey on the high road. When I reached Mussoorie, I washed my head at a water tap and lay down at a waiting room for rest. Immediately after I had slept, Sadguru Deo appeared in physically before me and said what a man I was to have started on a trek on the mountainous terrain. When I saw him, I was very much surprised, and when I got up, my headache had vanished. Again, when I was returning by car from Mussoorie to Dehradun, I got asleep on the way, and when the car reached Dehradun, I heard Sadguru Dev say, "You have reached Dehradun, so get up." Next incident. The annual celebration of the Sant Samaj was being held in the month of Aghan at the Vritikut ashram. It was very early in the morning when Sri Sadguru Dev was replying to the queries of the inquisitive seekers. The watch had been set to alarm earlier, and it was only that time that it started giving the alarm. Sri Sadguru Dev rebuked it and asked it to stop. It stopped immediately, but after 2 minutes, it again started giving the alarm. Again, Sadguru Dev ordered it to stop, and it did so instantly. The watch was thus stopping its alarm on the order of Sadguru Dev, and after a few minutes, it was again giving its sound. When thrice it so happened, Sri Sadguru Dev ordered it to exhaust its sound, after which he would resume replying to the questions. Another incident. Once Sri Sadguru Dev Ji was going to Nepal. When the destination was just 4 miles away, he suddenly started returning back, and the next day he returned back to its original camp. It was found that some of the devotees had come to the camp and were anxiously waiting for Swamiji for some urgent and pre-arranged work. Next incident. Once a Vaishya, a devotee, needed some money for the marriage of his son. He was in need for a further sum of rupees 300 so as to arrange for the functions. He prayed to Swamiji for the money which I could not manage. To his utter surprise, when he reached home and began counting the money for making the necessary purchases, he found that the desired amount was in his chest. This extra money he had got absolutely through the grace of Sri Sadguru Dev. In fact, Sri Swamiji had told me earlier that it would so happen. Next incident. In Kolkata, a photographer started taking photograph of Sri Swamiji. He clicked his camera so many times, but image would never get caught. He was thus perplexed, and he told Swamiji that he did not know why the image was not being reflected on the film. At this, Swamiji asked him to take the photograph afresh and to his utter surprise, the photograph appeared in the camera. Next incident. There is a Harijan, one belonging to low caste devotee of Sri Swamiji, on the bank of the Ganga at Prayag. When Swamiji was practicing yoga over there, this devotee used to attend on him. Sadguru Deo always used to call him as Tiwariji, a title of Brahmins. It is through karma, acting or virtues, and good conduct alone that a man's life is of high order and not by mere birth in a high caste. That's it for the day. It will be continued in my next video. Till then, Jai Sadguru Dev and stay blessed.